Good day, guys. Welcome to our YouTube tutorial, which will be about stress and stress management. We chose this topic because we have seen that you guys are about to approach the exam season, and we really hope that today's lesson will be fruitful and helpful for you guys. And without wasting any time, I'm Nicholas, and by my side I have Kimmy City.
Hey guys, do you really know what is stress? Do you really know what is stress? Stress is defined as what we feel in situation when we cannot cope. It's what we feel as if like it is out of order. So when you feel like you cannot cope with the situation. For a grade 12 learner, you can be stressed about organizing your schoolwork. You can be stressed about your assignments, a lot of work.
Let's not forget their family matters too.
Yeah, and also about the funds, your
True,
university funds, your university fees. You're gonna be stressed about if I'm gonna have funds for my university. Is NSFAS gonna fund me? Will I find a bursary? It's all stress. It's when you cannot cope with the situation. It's when the situation is out of your control.
True,
It's the physical, emotional, and mental strain that you cannot cope with. Stress is defined as mental pressure, which can be linked to mental strain. Stress is what we feel in situations we find difficult, challenging, or even frightening. When we feel we cannot cope with the situation. So, explaining this part, I would say like for me personally, I've been into this part where like I was stressed when I felt like I cannot cope with the situation. When I was in matric, I was always under pressure. I was always in situation that I could not cope with. Bullet number 2. The signs of stress are physical symptoms. Feeling worried is a symptom of stress. Sweating or trembling hands are a sign of stress and worry. I lost weight. Almost everyone in grade 12.
I guess everybody does.
Yeah,
I guess
yeah,
everybody does.
Everyone that like I lost weight. I was always stressed. I could not eat at all. So there can be two forms of stress, which is positive stress and negative stress, which you could also identify as necessary and unnecessary pressure. Not everything that is bad is bad. Also, stress can be a good stress. It can help you to get out of your comfort zone.
True.
So stress is necessary, especially for a grade 12. It is necessary. It is unnecessary, but it is necessary. It is very important because when you're stressed, you're able to do more. Like you'll be like, I'm not gonna sleep today. I'm gonna do my schoolwork. I'm gonna do my assignment. I have to make sure that I get an 80% in this examination so that I can go to university, for example. Who doesn't want to be in the University of Witwatersrand?
True.
So stress is necessary. It is necessary. So positive stress is the stress that makes you ready for action, as it gives you adrenaline and energy. That is a good stress. So remember, not every stress is the best stress. So it can be positive, it can be negative. And negative stress, if stress is more than you can cope with, it is unhealthy. You may become ill, unhappy, and depressed. You are not able to do your task as well as you could. You will have headaches or will not be able to sleep. That is a calamity. That is a slap in the face. That is a slap in the soul. And negative stress is a very dangerous stress. It's negative. It is a distress. It makes you depressed. It makes you unhappy. It makes you lazy. It's all bad. So I'll say to you, remember this. Not every stress is a negative stress. Not every stress is a best stress. Focus on the good things. Focus on the action. Focus on the energy. Let stress build you. Don't let stress derail you from doing your schoolwork.
I guess one thing we can tell the grade 12 learners is that they should identify the difference between worrying and being concerned. If you're being concerned about your future, it could be like the bursaries, it could be like passing your matric. That forms part of positive stress.
Yeah.
But once you start worrying about it, that's negative stress. Because what do you achieve when you worry? When you're worrying, you're gonna sit in your room feeling down, saying, "Oh, I'm gonna fail this exam."
Yeah.
During that time, you thinking about failing that exam or anything, you should have been focusing on your schoolwork and
Putting action.
pushing like your content to know it and get in there. Because one thing I know is that being worrying doesn't get you nowhere. It's one of the dangers of being worried.
It's guaranteed. Just have to work hard, that's all. So
True,
I literally agree. You have to know the difference between being worried and being too concerned. And
True.
so it's all about hard work. It's all about putting the action, putting in the work. You don't have to sit all around. Oh my gosh, I'm feeling physical sense. What are you doing about it? The question is, what are you doing about it?
True.
Thank you. Hey guys, my name is Bridget and I'm with Muteo by my side. Today we're going to focus on the type of stressors and the causes of stress.
You first need to ask yourself how stress is caused and what is a stressor. So a stressor is an event that causes stress. We have 4 types of stressors being emotional, physical, environmental, and social. So emotional stresses, it is caused by emotions and emotional problems or issues. So emotional stresses like the death of a parent or a loved one can make learners be emotionally drained and stop focusing on their schoolwork. And if they don't seek help or get help, it's a problem because it also affects them mentally and physically. So we also have physical stressor. It's caused by physical harm, being sexually abused. When a learner is sexually abused, they cannot focus because they are also emotionally and physically strained. Menstruation and pregnancy can also be some of the examples of physical stresses. So, as a learner, you're gonna ask yourself, what is a social stressor? Something that most learners in high school faced with. So you may define a social stressor as people you hang out with or people around you. So an example of a social stressor can be that you're being bullied at school, negative peer pressure whereby you're being told to do bad things that you don't want to do, like smoking and then doing that kind of stuff that is bad to other kids. And lastly, we have environmental stress caused by the things around you, the environment you live in. An example of an environmental stressor can be pollution or overcrowding. Overcrowding is something that we face mostly at schools that are most disadvantaged, whereby there are too many learners in a classroom and they cannot even study or have time to do their schoolwork. Living in a place where there is too much noise always comes as a problem to learners who are dedicated in their schoolwork. So personally, I think that learners should live in a place where it is healthy, either mentally or physically healthy for them, so that they can put more effort and work hard in their schoolwork.
Now that we are done to define the types of stressors, now we're going to focus on causes of stress. You may be stressed as a result of a major event or situation in your life. Grade 12 learners are stressed because they are dealing with academic problems that cannot be solved due to the school's disadvantaged background. They are unable to access the information because their schools lack resources such as textbooks, computers, stuff that can help them to learn. This causes stress because they are unsure of how they are going to pass this grade due to lack of information.
Their stress it's largely caused by the failure of not getting enough resources to do their schoolwork.
Lack of support from parents or teachers, even if it is only perceived, can add a lot of stress to learners. They may feel that a lot is expected of them, but that
They do not have a strong enough support system to achieve their goals.
Okay, grade 12s, welcome back. Right now we're moving on to the topic of stress management, and I want to give you guys a task. Write down in your notepads or in your exercise books, write down the causes of your stress and maybe your stresses, since like you now understand what stresses are and the causes of stress. As I believe right now when we get into this section, you guys will be able to know how to cope with these stresses and stresses, and I believe you'll find a way to eliminate your stress. Oh, and guys, with me right now, I have Zanele, who will take us through the definition of stress management.
Stress management are techniques and treatment intended to reduce or control an individual's level of stress, particularly chronic stress, usually with the aim of improving daily functioning.
As part of coping with stress, one needs to change their lifestyle in a constant stressful situation, practice self-care and relaxation, and manage their responses to stressful situations. This simply means that if you usually take a long walk in order for you to ease your mind and eliminate the stress you have, in situations whereby you're not in a stressful situation, you should actually resist from using those same methods, like taking a long walk if you're feeling okay, because the effectiveness of that long walk will no longer be there, since like it was intended for you to reduce your stress. So it is very important that you limit your use of these techniques, especially when you're not in a stressful situation.
Stress management offers a range of strategies to help you better deal with stress and difficulty in your life. Managing stress can help you lead a more balanced, healthier life. Stress is an automatic physical, mental, and emotional response to a challenging event. It's a normal part of everyone's life. When used positively, stress can lead to growth, action, and change, but negative, long-term stress can lessen your quality of life.
Right now, let's get into the importance of stress management. As we know that the human body has two main hormones, which is adrenaline and cortisol. Fear produces the hormone cortisol, resulting into anxiety, mental disorders, and in response to a threat, that's when adrenaline gets in and prepares your body to react physically.
It is essential that you use your teachers to your advantage this year. Remember, we are not working on cramming information, but we are working on understanding our content so we can answer any question that we will face in the exam room.
True. Right now, grade 12s, you're going to get in the moment I guess you were waiting for, which is ways on how to manage your stress. One method of managing your stress is, and I think this one is most essential, is decreasing your negative self-talk. This is like when you think neutrally or positive about yourself instead of thinking negatively about yourself, because once you think negative about yourself, you start having a low self-esteem, and this also impacts the way you put your energy into studying and everything. Using words like "my life will never get better" can be transformed into using words like "I may feel hopeless now, but my life will probably get better if I work on this." And this is the start of thinking positive. The second one is avoid people who stress you out. And this one is very essential, grade 12s. It's okay to limit the amount of time you spend with people who constantly comes or brings pressure to your life. If the relationship cannot be turned around, you are actually advised to end it or limit the time you spend with that person. The third one is cut down your to-do list. the very important part in this is prioritizing your daily tasks, schedules, and responsibilities. If you know that this is something that you want to do and this is actually something that you need to do, actually you should be able to differentiate between should and must. If the things that you must do, okay, you must study for exam, you must do your assignments, you must prepare for tomorrow's lesson, those are things which you should consider putting at the top of your list. And if there are things that you should do, okay, you should go and play soccer, you should go watch TV, you should actually prioritize your to-do list, which will also help you with managing your time, which is also one of the ways of managing your stress.
One thing that learners forget is that it is essential to take a break and focus on your hobbies to have a balance in your life. Don't forget to do the things you love. This can help you eliminate some of your stresses. Remember, overthinking occurs when you worry too much. Exercise and eat healthy. This means that you should keep a regular routine of eating at least 3 times a day. This will help you concentrate when you are at home studying or in a classroom paying attention to a lesson. Avoid excess caffeine. Most of you are told that coffee or energy drinks are the essential drinks for you to study at night, which will be true. But let us not forget the side effects and disadvantages of having too much caffeine intake, which can increase feelings of anxiety and agitation.
Which is de-stress. Okay, let's get into this one. It is important to get into meditation and relaxation activities. Stress can be greatly relieved by simple deep breathing exercises because they help you calm down, which also includes meditation. There are many ways to meditate. Don't go out looking for ways which are relatable to other people. Seek the perfect meditation routine that actually helps you deal with your stress. And examples of meditation could be listening to music and humming to the rhythm, reading a fictional book which does not have any experiences which are related to your life. This helps you to put your imagination to work. Going out for a walk in an open environment whereby there aren't any noises from people but only noises from nature. Getting involved in yoga classes, which surely works for most people.
Hello guys, I am back. So right now we're gonna look at ways to manage stress when preparing for an examination. We have 2 methods, which are SQ3R and SMART goals.
I'm pretty sure you guys have heard through these 2 methods, which is the SQ and the 3 R's and the SMART goals. But right now I'm going to touch on the SQ3Rs. Do you guys know what the acronym actually represents? Well, for S, that's survey. For Q, it's questioning. And for the 3 R's, we're going to look at read, recite, and review. These are actually essential steps when it comes to analyzing your readings before an exam. The first thing you do is engage initially in the reading process before. This is surveying the reading or the textbook or the book which you're going to read. Actually looking at the chapter during and after in order to increase your understanding of the text. Just by looking at the book, if it's going to speak about the market structures, so you're going to ask yourself, what are market structures and how do they work? And this comes when we talking about questions. So you're going to ask yourself questions which you're expecting to answer during the reading. You've now got an overall idea of what the work is about. Look at the heading and subheadings, the query for questions that you expect to be answered by the reading. The next step is to read, obviously. As you read, you recall what you have read by asking and questioning by answering the questions you've asked yourself. Then after that, you review, put what you have read onto a mind map. And this comes where you have already mastered or taken enough information from the reading or the textbook or the chapter, and right now you're analyzing to say, okay, I've learned this from this chapter. Then a personal note which I want to give to you guys is, let's remember that there are no shortcuts to reading. We have to know our information thoroughly. And over to you with the SMART goals.
Thank you for the opportunity. Now we're gonna go to the next method, which is the SMART goals. First, I'm gonna give you an overview of what this method is all about. SMART goals. Through daily mindfulness practices, gratitude, compassion, acceptance, higher meaning, and forgiveness, the SMART program aims to enhance mental well-being by developing resilience principles like gratitude, compassion, acceptance, and higher meaning. So, S stands for specific. You have to be specific. The objective clearly states, so anyone reading it can understand what will be done and who will do it. So you have to be specific. M stands for measurable. The objective includes how the action will be measured. Measuring your objectives helps you determine if you are making progress. It keeps you on track and on schedule. Remember, M stands for measurable. Achievable. The objective is realistic given the realities faced in the community. Setting reasonable objectives helps set the project up for success. It has to be realistic so that you can achieve it. R stands for relevant. It has to be relevant. You cannot set something that is not relevant, that is like out of this world, that is impossible. Relevant. A relevant objective makes sense. It has to make sense. That is, it fits the purpose of the grant, it fits the culture, the structure of the community, and it addresses the vision of the project. T, time bound. It is all about time. We have time. Remember, we have time, but don't waste time. Time, T stands for time bound. Every objective has a specific timeline for completion. Yeah. So on a personal note, the most important point here is that you should be realistic when setting your goals. You have to be realistic. Don't set goals that are not realistic. You have to be realistic about them so that you can achieve them.
True.
For real. Just as we spoke about positive and negative stress. Remember at the first of this tutorial we talk about negative and positive stress. It is okay to be concerned about your future. It's predictable. It's unpredictable, it's predictable. You have to be concerned about your future. But worrying over it will eventually lead you to be stressed out. So, wrapping everything all out, you have to manage your stress academically when preparing for your examination using these methods, and it's all good.
And you also have to maintain a healthy well-being. Actually, you should make sure that your health is at the maximum. And I guess that's all for our lesson today, grade 12s. We actually have a quiz for you which you have to take right now, which is actually a test if you have been listening to the lesson. And we're also planning on making it more like the feedback. Where you didn't understand, you'll leave a comment under the video so we can explain for you.
We'll address it. Remember, study smart, not hard.
Thanks.
Thank you. Smart, not hard. Thank you.
Hey guys, it's quiz time right now. I'm going to take you through this quiz, and if you ever need a few more minutes or extra time, you're actually allowed to pause the video and resume right after you're done. Richard has an exam in the following week. He is stressed out and does not know where and how to start preparing for his exam. Advise Richard on techniques that he could use to study. Okay, grade 12s, I hope you've written the correct answers to the question. I'm going to share with you the possible answers to the question. The first is to use the SQ3R technique when studying. The second is on planning an effective to-do list, with exams being his first priority. He could also use the SMART goals when setting up his to-do list to make it realistic and manageable. Any answer relevant to studying is correct. And this was the first question of the quiz. For the rest of the quiz, I'll leave you guys to write down in your notebooks the answers to the following questions. Good luck. We have now approached the end of the lesson, and as the stress relievers, we'd like to say thank you guys for paying attention throughout the lesson and participating in the short quiz which we prepared for you guys. Right now, we're going to have a short lesson recap to see through the things that were discussed in the lesson. We touched on what stress is, what stresses are, what contributes to stress. We also had a section about stress management, ways of coping with stress, eliminating stress, ways of studying to tackle possible stresses which may occur during the exam season. And from our side, we like to say good luck on your examinations, grade 12s, and we hope to meet you guys in the next lesson. Thank you.